day one on Langkawi Island. Fairly early. Well, I was certainly one of the first people up in my hostel. We're going to get onto the main road here and then go for a tour of the island, including one big climb. Down onto the runway of the airport and jagged peaks in the distance. We've got to go a little bit further on this busy road, well, not that busy, big road, and then we're turning off into the climb. I think about 12k, quite a lot of climbing off the main road, and bang, straight into it. Gunung Raya Mountain, 13 kilometers, almost 1,000 meters of climbing. That's a lot. I can see it's just looks pretty much steep the whole way. Looks like we've got monkeys coming. It's fairly clear out. It's not super clear out, but we'll see how the view is from the top. A little bit hazy. Here we go. Straight into the jungle, straight into nature. Conditions pretty good. It's 9 a.m. It's about 25-26 degrees. Humid, but a little bit clouded over. That's good news. Well, that'll bring the humidity up, but to not be climbing in full sun is definitely a big bonus. I mentioned that the World Tour Pro race, the Tour of Langkawi, is staged on Langkawi. I'm not sure if it does this climb. I had a look on Strava. I couldn't see any famous names. And disappointingly, the Tour of Langkawi is not the Tour of Langkawi. It's the Tour of Malaysia. There are 8 stages. Only the first one was on Langkawi. Kua ran to Kua. The rest were spread across Malaysia. Some of the routes I've done: Cameron Highlands, Butterworth, KL, Malacca, so it is indeed a tour of the whole of Malaysia. I'll pay more attention to it in future. I'd like to know how Malaysia got it though, because I don't see a lot of cyclists here. Thailand I would have thought would be a good candidate. Just over halfway up now, cooling off a little bit. Sun's out, but there's a lot of it's in the shade. Road surfaces are excellent, almost zero traffic, and it's nothing like the crazy ultra climbs of Penang. Might make for a good Everest spot, I reckon. I'll check and see if anyone's Everested it. Always on the lookout. Not sure I'll do another one. That said, I think it's got too many little downhill sections, and the average gradient I checked is at only 5.7%, which means you wouldn't have to do too many ascents, maybe 9 to get to the mythical 8,848 meters height of Everest. But it would be a lot of distance, and I think quite a long day in the saddle, so yeah. And it's also possible that there's no traffic because it's still a little bit early. Once the tourists are up and breakfasted, I guess they may be up here in droves. "12k in, finally a bit of view." But only a little bit. Oh, we can see the coast. See if we can get the camera up above the plants. That's it. Hopefully it'll be better from the top. Interesting little staircase leading up to, well, Gunung Raya. You have to imagine the second G. Who's this? Hey monkey. He was enjoying the view. Now that is a view. Hooey! Wow. I turned round, that monkey, yeah, Yusa, was trying to steal things off my bike. Fortunately, he hadn't worked out how the how the twist lock of a bike computer works, although I wouldn't give him too much longer to work it out. There's a waterfall somewhere down here. I'll see if I can cycle down. Although I'm sure I'm not supposed to. Oh, steps. Oh, I can see it from here actually. Looks fantastic. Now I get nearer. I remember, I think someone told me last night that it didn't have a lot of water in it, but it's still quite impressive. Very impressive. With water pouring down that. Wowzers. Considering how much rain there's been in the area recently, it's hard to imagine that it would be dry. Ooh. That's a pretty cool tunnel. Bats. One more little cement footpath detour. It should take us down to a nice beach. And it does. I have to leave the bike here. Now I fancy a bit of nanas, pineapple. See if they got some peeled. A huge glass of fresh pineapple juice. And man, do I need it. Whew. Nearly back to home, going past the airport. Langkawi Airport, international I think. Flights here are the cheapest I've seen anywhere in the world. You can fly to KL for like 20 euros, and it's because they have some of the cheapest fuel prices in the world. I think it's like 40 euro cents a litre. One side runway, other side ocean. It's gone a bit grey out. I've got a feeling it's going to rain. We're still a few K from home, so it's going to be head down, get back, get some grub, and siesta time. Okay, cheap dinner. We're not quite back in the tourist area yet, so prices are pretty normal. So 7 ringgit, that's like £1.10, something like that. Some sort of oniony, ricey, chickeny thing, and curried aubergines. Very nice, very tasty. Gonna get this down me, and I think I may still just outrun the rain. And we're home, greeted by a little kitten. I haven't seen this one. Hey, little kitten. 2 little kittens, 3 little kittens. The guest house is already full of kittens, of cats, big cats, but not the little ones are new to me. Anyway, let's go and see the cats. A short time later. And we're off. Say goodbye to the cats. See ya. Thank you. Say goodbye to the boss. Say goodbye to Michelle and Elia, who I first met in Kuala Lumpur 3 weeks ago, and we've all ended up here. But Elia, I think, is coming to Chiang Mai, so I'll see him again. Final part of the trip. A little bit cloudy out, but it's dry. Step 1, ride to the ferry. 10 kilometers, ferry in 1 hour, although they told me to be there an hour early. I don't think I will be. Step 2, ride to the border, Padang Besar, and then I'm actually going to stay the night there, although it's not a long ride, to give me an extra day on my Thai visa from tomorrow. And then tomorrow I ride to Hat Yai, if they let me in, to Thailand, and then on to Chiang Mai. Into Langkawi port. 40 minutes early, I'm sure that's fine. It's probably just to get the cars loaded. Bicycles, much easier. Right, the way through. Here we are, Kuala Police. And we're off. Nice mosque right on the coast. We're very near the border with Thailand here. Good old Maps.me has found me another lovely route. Cycle path along the river under these lovely trees. Change of plans. It's only 2:30. I realised that Thailand's an hour behind or ahead or whatever. Behind. Anyway, it's 1:30 in Thailand. So I'm like, sod it, I don't need to stay here. There's not much happening in Padang Besar. Let's just get over the border, get to Hat Yai, spend a couple of nights there before we fly home. First step, will they let me back in? And we're in. Welcome home. Welcome back to Thailand. That was easy. No questions asked. Quick look at the passport. Stamped it. Put the right date. Always worth checking. And we're in. Welcome to Padang Besar. So we're in Padang Besar still, but the Thai side. But we've got 53k to ride to Hat Yai. Pretty much flat. Don't see any big problems. Might stop at 7-Eleven for a nice coffee to celebrate. Latex rubber plantation. Quick stop for a nice coffee, although I didn't have a nice coffee, so I had a nice tea. A word on 7-Eleven in Malaysia, because I never went in them. I mean, I had a look in them. 7-Eleven in Malaysia is very disappointing. Coconut, anyone? And green. Into Hat Yai City. Coming to the end of the tour. Merry Christmas. 2 days later. Yeah, 2 days since I arrived. I arrived in the afternoon 2 days ago. Checked into that place, Hat Yai backpacker hostel, for one good reason. That reason being that it had the lowest rating of any hostel I've ever seen on Hostel World, and that piqued my interest. Of course, the Langkawi. It's not a beautiful city, Hat Yai, I have to say, but it does have one of the best cuisines in Thailand, according to my friend Joel, who is a renowned food blogger, so I take his word for it. It rained all day yesterday, so I didn't do a great deal, but I'm leaving today. I got a flight about 2 p.m, so I managed to secure a empty cardboard box for my bike. So I'll go for a ride, pack up, get some grub, and then it will be time to head home. It's one of the biggest cities in Thailand. After, I think, the fourth or fifth. The biggest being, of course, Krung Thep, as the locals call Bangkok. Then Chiang Mai. A couple of cities in Isan, in the northeast. Nakhon something, Ratchasima. And another one that I don't remember the name of, and then Hat Yai. But incredibly, in 1920, Hat Yai, although it wasn't called that then, had a population of 4. We've only got a couple of hours, really, and I'll spend most of that getting out and into town, but nice to stretch the legs before the long flight to Chiang Mai. About an hour and a half. That said, it's already starting to look a little bit more rural, a bit greener. Big pools of water around, because it did just rain for about 24 hours. It is the rainy season. But then I read the rainy season goes on for 9 months officially. Central Mosque of Songkhla. So we're in Songkhla province, and there is a city, Songkhla, but it's not officially the, well, it is the administrative capital, but it's much smaller than Hat Yai. Let's see if we can get down here. I would like to go and visit Songkhla, and I would like to go and visit Songkhla Lake, but it looks like the weather's coming in, so I think I'm going to retreat. I don't really want to have to pack up with everything soaking wet. Yeah, so population of 4 in 1920, and then someone decided to move the railroad terminus to what is now known as Hat Yai, and from that point on everything changed. Hat Yai, contraction of Mahat Yai, great tree, great mahat tree, and a mahat is apparently like a jackfruit, so that's the history of the name. Yeah, Thailand, predominantly Buddhist. I think Wikipedia listed at 97% Buddhist, but that 3% is mostly Muslim, and almost entirely in the south. I believe Yala province, which is the one I wanted to ride through, that got very flooded, has got a sort of separatist movement, and there were some bombings a number of years ago, which is why it's on the naughty list, or I think it's even on the UK travel advisory list as a place not to visit. And when the UK government tells me not to go somewhere, I tend to think, that could be interesting. Yala will have to wait for next time. Back to the hostel. Yeah, so it's got, I think, the worst reviews I've ever seen. But it did say some good things as well, but the bad things it said was that it's dirty, hard beds, no AC, noisy traffic from the main road, it's a complete mess. And all those things are true. But it also said the owner was very sweet. It's basically on top of a craft beer bar in a good part of town. So I thought I'll give it a go. And actually, I liked it. I checked in for 1 night, stayed for 2. Yeah, the bed is Viet level of hardness, which I can deal with, but I can see how maybe some Western tourists would struggle with that. Could do with a good clean. Don't think it's going to get it. It's noisy, but I slept well. No AC, but it's not hot at the moment, so not really a problem. It's the sort of hostel that has a lot of character. The owner's very lovely, and she's got a little cat called Stout, as in the beer. So, oh, and a good breakfast. First class free breakfast. What more could a man ask for? And yes, I'm riding on the shoulder the wrong way on the highway, very tight. Being very careful. But don't try this at home, kids. When you see the locals stopping to put on their raincoat, you know the rains are coming. These guys have seen it all before. Hat Yai Junction train station. This is where it all began. 1922, I think it opened. And we just outrun the rain. But we're not home yet. Anyway, that is the end of my Malaysian odyssey. A real surprise. I didn't expect to love it so much. And I'll definitely be back. Maybe fly back and hit the northeast of Malaysia when it's not monsoon season, and the south of Thailand likewise. Hope you enjoyed it. Join me next time on today's ride.